Live, local, late breaking. This is WMBF News at 11.
We're glad you're with us at 11 o'clock. I'm Eric Weisfeld, feeling like fall and just in time for Halloween. Meteorologist Robert Whitehurst has a look at your weekend in his certified most accurate forecast. A lot of people waiting for this weather, Robert.
Yeah, and it's finally moving in tonight. Not as breezy here the last couple of hours, so some improvements there. It's a quiet radar, and the winds that are left are all coming out of the north, so continuing to drive in that cooler weather tonight. A few spots already trying to drop into the 40s. Conway sitting at 50 right now, middle to lower 50s inland. Myrtle Beach still sitting at 60, but we're already seeing the 50s in North Myrtle Beach. They'll continue to drop from here. And as we head out early tomorrow morning, a cooler start to the day with some spots into the 40s inland, lower 50s along the Grand Strand. And despite sunny skies, likely not getting into the 70s tomorrow. Temperatures through lunchtime still in the 60s, and that's where we top out, 66, 67 degrees as we head through tomorrow night. It's going to be a cooler night, down into the 50s and 60s as we get a little closer to sunset. Now, there are changes this weekend, including the chance of some rain. Some of that could turn heavy at times into Sunday. I'll have that full weekend forecast coming up.
Horry County's controversial mask ordinance ends tomorrow on Halloween Day, but depending on where you trick or treat, a face covering may be required tomorrow. WMBF News reporter Jennifer Roberts is live at the Market Common. Jennifer, we know some families will be making their way to the Market Common tomorrow, so will masks be required there?
The answer to your question, Eric, is yes. Tomorrow night, numerous businesses here in the Market Common will have an orange balloon posted on their storefront. That means they're welcoming trick-or-treaters from 5 p.m. until 7 at night. Now, although it's Halloween, wearing a mask inside of all of these businesses is still required.
It's been a tough year, 2020. So maybe we can start turning it around.
Last week, Horry County Council voted to not extend its mask ordinance. That means masks won't be required inside certain businesses of the county.
We're not saying anything's over, we're just ending the mandate.
But the Market Common is in the city limits of Myrtle Beach, which still has a mask mandate in place. Tomorrow night, numerous businesses will be participating in the hometown Halloween festivities at the Market Common, including trick-or-treating. Retailers like the Uncommon Chocolatier will be required to wear masks and gloves.
We'll have a table set up inside the doors. Person serving the children with candy will have a face mask and gloves on.
Here, trick-or-treaters must wear a mask on Halloween night at certain times.
And when the social distancing is not achievable, we ask that you do put that mask on, but try to maintain a safe social distance between you and the other people that are here.
Because of the COVID pandemic, some Halloween favorites won't be a part of this year's Market Common festivities.
In years past, we've had bounce houses and games. We didn't think that kids especially, as well as parents, were able to be safe in that environment and social distance and the proper protocols that we would like to enforce at our events. It's been tough to see, especially in the faces of children. Things have been so different for them throughout the whole year with school and all. We're just so excited to provide an opportunity for them to come out, experience a holiday to the best of our ability and as close to normal as possible.
You can find more information about Halloween events happening across the Grand Strand at WMBFnews.com. Now, just a reminder, Horry County Council's mask ordinance that expires tomorrow only applies for the unincorporated areas of the county. And under South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster's orders, restaurants must still enforce masks being worn until that order is lifted. In Myrtle Beach, I'm Jennifer Roberts, WMBF News.
New at 11, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office needs your help identifying the people in this video. Take a look at the video you're about to see. You're looking for the person who stole a campaign sign from a person's yard. Take a look. You can see someone get out of a car right there, run across the grass, pull that sign out before running back into the car. The sheriff urges the driver and the passenger to come forward. He says stealing a political sign is a misdemeanor. 20 more people in Horry County have tested positive now for coronavirus. The Department of Health and Environmental Control announced 680 new cases statewide. 16 are in Florence County, 2 are in Georgetown County. The agency says 7 more people statewide have died from the virus. That includes 1 person in Horry County. Long lines as Horry County voters cast in-person absentee ballots just days before the general election. How election officials are getting ready and the last pushes those candidates are making.
Now the certified most accurate forecast from First Alert meteorologist Robert Whitehurst.
You never know what to get on Halloween from year to year around here. It could be warm. This year we're on the cooler side. Temperatures tomorrow evening quickly falling through the 50s and 60s. The later you go, most of the area down into the 50s by about 8 to 9 o'clock. There will be more clouds moving in. The rain chances will hold off, though, until the second part of the weekend. So through tomorrow, it's rain-free and mainly sunny. We may see a few more clouds arrive into the afternoon, but most of those arrive into the evening and really start to filter in by Sunday morning. And that's our next cold front getting in here. It is going to bring us some showers by late morning through the early afternoon. As that cold front moves by, notice future radar bringing some of these showers around through about 3 to 4 o'clock. As we push towards dinner time, that cold front will start to move by, and as it does so, another pretty big drop in temperature sets up for early next week. So the coolest day will be tomorrow, 66. That's all we managed despite the sunny skies. Ahead of that cold front, we'll return to the 70s as we head into Sunday. A cool start to the morning, but quickly climbing through the day. And again, there will be some of those showers around for the second part of the day. But that bigger drop arrives for early next week, going from 73 to 56. For an afternoon high on Monday, we'll take the temperatures nearly into the 30s all the way to the Grand Strand by Tuesday. From Conway and inland, expect 30s and some areas of frost around by Tuesday morning. So this next cold front really bringing in a bunch of cold air for early next week. Then it'll warm up. In fact, more 70s around by the end of next week. The tropics still active, likely looking at the next storm trying to develop in the Caribbean later this weekend, early next week. At this point, it looks like it will continue to drift to the west, and most of the models keeping it to the west. So some good news there, at least for the U.S., but we'll likely be tracking our next storm here through the weekend. 7-day forecast showing those showers around on Sunday. Sunny skies, though, for Halloween. Temperatures in the 60s for tomorrow afternoon.
More than 1.2 million absentee ballots already in the hands of election officials statewide. That's more than double the previous record from the 2016 general election. More than 460 ballots have been returned by mail. Nearly 93,000 absentee ballots have been returned in Horry County. Some today spent more than 2.5 hours in line at the South Strand Recreation Center to vote. County's election office also spent the day making sure they're ready to tally mail-in ballots election day. They tallied 50 ballots by hand, then ran them through the machine to make sure it all worked properly. If you're planning to vote in-person absentee, there are opportunities this weekend in Horry and Florence counties. Both county election offices will be open tomorrow from 9 to 1. There are also 4 locations in Horry County and 5 in Florence County open Monday as well. That's the last day for in-person absentee voting. We do have a full list of times and locations for in-person absentee voting right now on the Decision 2020 section of our website, WMBFnews.com. And with just 4 days to go until Election Day, the South Carolina race for U.S. Senate is a tight one. Senator Lindsey Graham and Democratic challenger Jamie Harrison facing off for one final debate tonight. Kicked off with the first topic surrounding COVID-19 and the best ways to address the health crisis. Graham says he appreciated Governor McMaster's leadership and says the answer is not shutting down again. Harrison pulled on his personal experience of losing his aunt to the virus, says the state needed more leadership to address the pandemic. Candidates also answer questions about race relations and the Supreme Court. Presidential candidates also making a final push ahead of Election Day. Donald Trump spending part of his day in southeastern Minnesota holding a rally capped at 250 people. He spent most of his time visiting the crowd in the overflow area and criticizing state leaders.
And I did not forget you because we were given a very, very hard time by your so-called leaders, but they're not very good leaders, as you found out during the riots. And we're going to win 4 more years in our great White House. Thank you.
And meanwhile, Biden's last stop of the day was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at a small socially distanced rally. He promised an aggressive attack on coronavirus and pledging to deliver economic relief.
We're going to bring the Republicans and Democrats together and deliver economic relief for working families and schools and businesses. I promise you. I know how to do this. As I said before, I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm going to shut down the virus.
And Biden held a second rally in Minnesota today, another rally in Iowa. From the White House to the South Carolina State House and everything in between, we are your Decision 2020 station. Right now on WMBFnews.com, we have a whole section with what you need to know before you head to the polls. That's also where you'll find candidate profiles. Just look for the tab at the top of your screen. And stay right here with us for Election Day. We're going to have live team coverage starting on WMBF News today, beginning at 5 o'clock, going throughout the evening, covering the races that matter most to you, right here in the Grand Strand and the PD. But that is all our time for your news at 11 o'clock. Your high school football highlights are coming up next in Extra Points. Stay right here. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here Monday.
Hello and welcome to WMBF Extra Point. I'm your host, Gabe McDonald, and for the rest of the half hour, we'll have you fully covered all across the Grand Strand and PD with all the high school action for week 6. And I know Halloween is tomorrow. We got plenty of treats for y'all, possibly a few tricks, as we had another solid slate of games across the area. Plenty of great matchups on tap this evening, but none bigger than that clash between the Dogs and Panthers up in Bennettsville. Marlboro County hosting Lake City with playoff implications on the line. Both teams looking to punch that ticket to the postseason. First quarter, Darius Grant with the quarterback keeper, powering his way through defenders to get to the end zone. He does make it past the line, and that young man is pumped up. Bulldogs with a 7-0 lead early over the Panthers. But now it's the Panthers' turn to respond. Here's quarterback Hilshawn Bailey. The senior goes way deep to Claydeus Austin, his wide receiver, who is gone. He gets in for the score, but the Bulldogs would still have the lead after a failed 2-point conversion by Lake City. Still in the first quarter, Bulldogs decide to go for it on 4th down, but a missed snap gives the Panthers great field position after recovering the loose ball, and of course they would cash in. That drive continues with Bailey using his legs for the score, taking it in for 6. Yet another failed 2-point conversion by the Panthers, but they have the lead 12-7 over Marlboro County. Closing minutes of the second quarter, Grant connects with Jaden Brown, setting up the Bulldogs in the red zone with just 45 seconds left in the first half. And just before the break, DJ Hicks caps off the drive. He punches it in for the score, and hey, we got a ball game, folks. It's 14-12 Bulldogs heading into halftime. Marlboro County would start the second half with a touchdown, but on this possession, a tip ball would lead to a turnover, and Lake City would not look back. They put up 22 points in the second half. Panthers get the win 34-20, and they are playoff bound. Here's Coach Baker's message to his team after the win.
We will. Be physical. We will. We will go. We will. Win. We are. Lacey. We are. Lacey. We are. Lacey. Here we go. Win on 2. 1, 2. Win. Yeah. Hadn't played since the night, and at times we looked like it. We really did. We looked like it. But the kids, they never gave up. They kept battling, kept fighting, kept believing in what we were saying, and then at the end, just found a will to get it done.
And let's continue the action in Class 5A. Let's take you out to Carolina Forest now, where the Panthers hosted the 4-0 Buford Eagles out of Class 4A. And we picked this one up in the second quarter. Panthers already up by 13. Quarterback Kyle Watkins makes his presence known not just with his arm, but his legs also, breaking off a big run to set them up inside the red zone. And a few plays later, he would finish the drive off right here with the run to the left side. It was so quick, even the cameraman missed it. The Panthers up 20-0 over Buford. The very next drive for the Panthers, Watkins, who showed off his legs earlier, he's now showing off the arm strength and the accuracy here with a beautiful deep pass on the run to Adam Janak, who keeps both feet in bounds. Look at that effort by that young man. Beautiful touchdown. The lead is now 27-0 in favor of Carolina Forest, but it wouldn't be a blowout as a few plays later, Buford would score just before halftime to at least put 7 on the board. But this game was all about the Panthers' effectiveness on both sides of the ball. They would hand the Eagles their first loss of the season. Final score 40-20. And let's stay in Class 5A, where the Conway Tigers travel to the Ocean to take on the Sharks of St. James. Defense was the name of the game for the Sharks, who pick it up after halftime. St. James already up 21-7. Conway quarterback Carlton Terry looks to get a drive going, but is picked off by Marcus Austin, and he sets up St. James with great field position. And a few plays later, Joe McWickey, who is playing in place of McMiniman, who got injured early in the game, he throws a nice pass to Ben Sant, and that's a first down for the Sharks. And just 3 plays later, McWickey would run it in himself to increase the lead for the Sharks. They're now up 28-7 over Conway. And did I mention defense was the name of the game for Sharks? Well, here's another example of that. Terry is once again picked off. This time it's by St. James' JT Ferguson. He would stay on his feet for a while, and hey, when you pick it off, not only do you get a shout out, but of course you get the turnover chain, which is coming up right here in a second. He got a nice return there, which of course the turnover chain happens to be a Shark, of course, because they're the St. James Sharks. St. James wins this one easy. Final score 28-7. And let's continue the action in Class 4A. Myrtle Beach aiming to bounce back from losing to Wilson. They hosted South Florence. Seahawks drive right down the field on the opening possession and cash in. Ben Harriet takes the handoff from Ryan Berger and walks in for the easy score. Myrtle up 7 over the Bruins early in this one. They would go up 10 after a Sullivan-Harden field goal, but then the Bruins would find life. That's Jabray Johnson on the slant. He drags a Myrtle Beach defender into the end zone to cut the deficit to 3 in the second quarter. Hall of Fame inductee Mickey Wilson trying to get his guys going, and they would do just that. Breaking out the Rhino package there at the goal line. That's Cam Ward powering in for the touchdown. 1 of 2 for him on the night. Myrtle Beach back up 10 over South Florence. And then the Seahawks would begin to pull away. Berger rolls to his right and fires a rocket downfield to the future D1 receiver, Adam Randall, for the 47-yard score. Even showing some love to the Hall of Fame inductees there in the end zone. He could very well be one himself one day if he keeps on playing that way, which he sure will. Seahawks up 17 at the break, and they would pull away and get it done by a final of 38-14. They have a huge one next week against North Myrtle up in Little River. The Hartsville Red Foxes traveled to Florence to take on the Wilson Tigers with a possible playoff spot on the line. Wilson up 21-13 with a minute left in the first half. Wilson DB Samari Stokes picks off a pass, setting up the Tigers with great field position. And then the Tigers quarterback would punch it in just 2 plays later. Zayshawn Rice with a short run for the touchdown. Wilson now up 27-13. But with less than 30 seconds left in the half, you don't ever kick it to this man. Hartsville return man and South Carolina baseball commit Darian Pendergrass takes the kickoff 94 yards to the house, cutting the lead into the half. Wilson up 27-20. Midway through the third quarter, Hartsville now up 34-27. Wilson has the ball. Rice finds his receiver, Nyree Sanders, for 6. That would tie the game at 34. Now let's go early to the fourth quarter. Hartsville sustains a long drive, and they finish it off right here. Darian McMillan wrestles in for a touchdown, giving Hartsville a 41-34 lead. And with less than 3 minutes left, Hartsville drives all the way to the 10-yard line. Wilson, rather. But Hartsville DB Zyreek Thomas picks off the pass, stealing the win. That's a huge win for the Red Foxes, 41-34 over Wilson. Here's what Hartsville head coach Jeff Calabrese had to say about the huge kickoff return touchdown.
When you play ball games and things look bleak, something good's got to happen, and you've got to make it happen. And you know, certainly that was for our players, and for you know, we can win this game. You know, and again, I think when bad things have happened, we needed something good to happen, and that might have been the spark we needed tonight.
Huge win for the Red Foxes. We also had some Class 4A action out in the PD last night as the Knights of West Florence ran past Darlington 49-7 the final. The Knights improved to 4-2 on the season. All right, first half in the books, but we're not done just yet. We're going to take a quick timeout and then run through the action in classes 3A, 2A, and 1A. We're back in 3 minutes. All right, welcome back to Extra Point. We're going to kick off the second half of our action in Class 3A out in Loris. Jackie Hayes and his Wildcats down at the half, 21-17 to the Loris Lions, but not for long. Nemo Squire receives a handoff, and he just rumbles in for the touchdown, even faking out the cameraman for a little bit, and the Wildcats would not look back after that. They take a 22-21 lead. Dillon would go on to outscore Loris 49-6 in the second half. Nemo Squire playing a huge role in that scoring right here on the long touchdown run. He just rumbles in. We call his name every week on Extra Point. This man had a heck of a game this evening, and Dillon fans are definitely loving what they're seeing from their top-ranked Wildcats out in Loris. Loris would continue to fight as Bryce Faircloth keeps it himself for the score to get the Lions on the board some more. However, the Cats would go absolutely wild in this ball game. You guessed it, he's right here again. Nemo Squire here on the carry. He stiffs-armed a defender, and he would find pay dirt for his third score of just the second half, and the cheerleaders would be all smiles after that one. The Wildcats would overpower the Lions and just be too much for them in this one. They get it done 63-27. Dillon clinches the region title, during a very emotional week after defensive back Bobo McKinnon suddenly lost his mother.
Been a real emotional week for us, and you know, it was hard for us to get started, but once we got started, we started clicking pretty well.
It felt good to win. Hey, they helped me out with my mom, my team, everybody. It just worked.
That's a big thing for the team and what we was going through this week. But, for Bobo, this is really for Bobo and the Wilson family, for me and the team. And now the focus is taking it week by week to get to that last game. That's the biggest thing.
Good win for those guys. And here come the Trojans. We got a little 3A and 1A battle as Green Sea Floyds hosted Aner. Green Sea Floyds would surprise Aner on the opening kick with an onside kick, and that would pay off as Jaquan Dixon just 2 plays later does what he does best. He goes all the way to find pay dirt, and the Trojans go up 7 over the Blue Jackets. But Aner would come back on their ensuing possession and answer just like that. Blue Jackets quarterback Noah Jones takes it himself to punch it in for 6. Aner would take an 8-7 lead after this touchdown run, and they would get the successful 2-point conversion. Jones would have a big first quarter. Here he takes it himself and jukes out the defense, and even our cameraman a little bit on this one. He would go all the way and coming straight into your living room right here in just a little bit. He takes it for his second score of the quarter. Aner would go up 16-7 over the Trojans, and the Blue Jackets wouldn't let off the gas. We had a basketball game out here in Green Sea. The final was 67-48. Aner gets it done. I promise that is not a typo. And let's take you out to Georgetown now, where the Bulldogs are hosting 7th-ranked Carvers Bay. Defense was the name of the game in this one, with both sides holding steady. We pick it up in the second half, Georgetown leading 7-0. The Bears' first drive of the third quarter, the counterplay had everyone fooled. Josh Walker takes it right up the sideline for the big gain there and gets the ball inside the 5. There he goes right there. And then just a few plays later, it would be 1st and goal. And here comes Terrell Walker taking the ball, but he comes up just short. He reaches out and gets it down to the 1-yard line. The Bulldogs would dig in, however, and come up with 3 more goal line stops, and that would force a turnover on downs. Huge defensive stop right there by the Bulldogs. Georgetown would then go 3 and out, but that would lead to the play of the game as senior cornerback Eric Sherrod jumps the route, and he has reservations for 6. He is not late at all. He goes all the way back, and that would be the difference in this one as the Bulldogs give Carvers Bay its first loss of the season, 13-6 the final. And we had to walk them on now, where the Warriors were looking to get their first win of the season and upset the top-ranked Wild Gators of Lakeview. Warriors getting off to a good start on their first drive here. Quarterback Jared Yonker chucks it down the sideline and finds the senior Cayman Skinner there for the big gain. That drive would stall, however. Lakeview's next possession, the Wild Gators get it going on the ground like they always do. Jacorius Ford, we call his name every week with the tough run right here. And then on the very next play, Derek Bethea fools everyone, including my cameraman, on the quarterback keeper. He walks it in to put Lakeview up 6-0. Warriors' next possession, here's Yonker. He skies this one, but Lakeview safety Braxton Demery turns into a wide receiver like he is on offense and is waiting for it. He grabs the interception right there. And then the Wild Gators wouldn't capitalize, but Walcom would turn it over again on the ensuing drive. And here comes Demery coming up with his second INT of the night, this one in the end zone for the touchback. Lakeview wouldn't let this one go to waste. A few plays later, Michael McInnes breaks off a huge run, making tackles miss and getting the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line. And Bethea would punch it in on the very next play to give it a 2-score game. Wild Gators run away with this one, winning 40-7 to stay unbeaten. And here's a quick look at the other Class 2A scores. Marion goes on the road against Manning and gets it done. They are 4-1 over the season after a 35-14 win. Meanwhile, the Flashes of Johnsonville ran away with a 30-22 victory over C.E. Murray. And here are some other Class 1A scores. Kingstree would slash their way to victory over the Hemingway Tigers. They're still winless on the year. 20-6 was the final. And the other Class 1A game set for tonight was Lamar and Timminsville. That one would end up being canceled. And y'all thought we were done? No, sir. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to reveal our Play of the Week for Week 6. And this week we head back out to Florence Memorial Stadium for that thriller between Hartsville and Wilson. And this is the play right here that gave the Red Foxes the spark they needed. With less than 30 seconds left in the half, Hartsville return man and Gamecock baseball commit Darian Pendergrass takes the kickoff 94 yards to the house, cutting the lead to 27-20 at the half in favor of Wilson. But the Red Foxes would go on to get it done 41-34, keeping their hopes alive for an at-large playoff berth. And with that, we have come to the end of our show as we cap off yet another week of great high school action across the area. Just 1 week remains in the season, and we'll have yet another great slate of games to cap off this odd year on a high note. Of course, you can find highlights and scores from tonight on our website and mobile app. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Extra Point. Let's do it again, and we'll see you next week.